Welcome to our first ever in the history of the world, our first Sunday night live. Let's give it up for Steph Gramling. You were out making money.
I was making money.
Probably.
And you were forgetting to.
I was probably trying to start a church.
Yeah, probably so. I can't remember for sure what you were doing, but it wasn't like anything. Like you could have gone to the bank and deposited the check.
What is that? Iron Man. Incorrect. Jaws?
Tyler Gramling with Jaws.
Oh, I see it. I see it. You guys are producers.
Mm-hmm.
You know we're giving away a prize, and we don't have a drum roll?
I mean, we have...
All right. It is good to see you. We are so glad you guys are here today. This is what we call, you're late. I already pushed the button.
This one's louder.
We are glad you're here. But I got to tell you, I have been in the last 2 weeks for something special that we're doing here at Potential Church. I've been to Oklahoma City, I've been to Orlando, and I've been to Boston. I just flew in from Orlando, and boy, are my arms tired.
What a reference.
I've always heard people say that joke, and they kind of get the same.
And boy, are my arms tired. What is that, SNL?
I'm not sure, but I really didn't fly in. I did just drive in, though. And where's the studio audience today? You know
They're
what?
all over.
Here's for those of you who are out there in random land, who are not a part of Potential Church. I took a weekend off, and look at what happens.
We build and grow. I agree with you.
Where's the
That
audience?
Speaks to your leadership.
I know
How large we've grown in your absence.
where is the? I know, but what we need a studio audience. We need that excitement. And if you want to be a part of this sad studio audience, email me, Troy at troygramling.com.
Troy at troygramling.com.
That's what it is.
No, I love it. I think it's a great email address.
I'm not into self promotion.
Not at all. Not at all.
I can see that.
I'm not into self promotion. Anyways, I was in Orlando at a a couple of things. We did some video. I spoke. I spent the day. Get this, guys. I spent the day. I was from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. with a group of pastors. They wanted to spend time with me.
Look at that.
That's amazing.
It
Till
is.
midnight.
Wow.
Till midnight. You know why? Because of wisdom. Right here.
Amen.
Wisdom. That's Troy at Troy Gramling. Anyways, that was really cool. And then we went to a conference, a John Maxwell conference, by the way. I happen to have a book, and guess what? What? It's signed.
We don't have that sound effect yet.
It's signed. Can you put the picture up? Oh, the picture's up?
I got you with the picture.
Yeah.
Right.
We got you.
I will say this, brother,
3,
Dr. Maxwell had a huge impact on my life. He's the first one that spoke about leadership and its importance when it comes to ministry, right? So Bailey's here in spirit.
Why is he sitting down in your picture?
He's 77 years old.
Gotcha. So he has to be
77
sitting.
years old. And he was there that night till after 10. Then he got up the next day from 7 to 8 in the morning to sign books. You know what you call that, guys out there who happen to be on staff at Potential Church? Showing up. I'm just kidding. All right.
Kind of.
Anyways, hey, we're going to talk for just a few moments about what scares you. And you know something that scares people? Parenting. And so we're going to talk a little bit about parenting tonight because I think that's scary. It's something I'm passionate about, and I think it's something we need to talk about. And I've got my middle son here. You know, and middle sons are usually the ones that are the most screwed up.
I agree.
Because you know what? Middle son is the oldest son here.
Nope.
No, he's not.
Is the youngest daughter here? Not a chance.
Not a chance.
Who knows? They're probably getting wild somewhere, in some club somewhere. But your middle son is here, faithful.
I don't think they're getting wild somewhere. Anyways, this is the signed copy of the 16 Undeniable Laws of Communication. And let's see, what's it say on the back? This is a $28 value.
Wow.
But it doesn't end there. I'm going to give these away because I care about you folks that are out there in internet land. This is the John Maxwell Bible.
Is that the John Maxwell Leadership Bible?
It is the John Maxwell
I
Leadership.
have read that Bible, and it's a great. I mean, I've
Read the whole
I
thing.
have that Bible,
I've read the Bible too.
and it's but that specific one is very good.
All right.
Very good.
This is the NIV lay flat, and it is a $80 value.
Wow.
Plus more than that because it's actually signed by Brother Maxwell. And we're going to give him both away. I think they'll help somebody, and here's how we're going to do it. Is if you are currently in the chat room, Amber or Giselle or Francine or Chris or Sammy or Carly, if you're in the chat room, Maddie, okay, and you invite somebody, we got folks in the Rumble chat room as well, Derek and me, the T guy. Is that what that says?
IT guy.
Oh,
That
me,
would be
the
Chris.
IT guy. All right. Anyways, if you invite somebody and they come into the chat and say, hey, for example, Sammy invited me, all right? We by the end of the show, we'll put them all in a little hat. Our studio head, Danny Fernandez, will.
Amen.
And
good.
We're going to draw a winner and see who wins. And here's the thing. Then you can decide whether you and the person you invite who actually shows up gets the signed book or the signed Bible, right? This is the Maxwell Leadership Bible. All kidding aside, it is incredible. It's got the scripture, and then it's got the leadership lessons that go along with the different scriptures. And then his books are always, I forget how many books he said he had wrote, but they are a lot. And they have made a huge impact on my life. It's daylight savings time. So the sun is still up.
For some reason, we still do this every year.
Yeah. How many of you like the daylight saving time?
I like spring forward quite a bit.
As do I.
I like the other way. I like it when it's dark out. I'm not big on this. I'm a little depressed.
I feel it right now. I feel that energy coming from you.
But that's okay. You know what? I'm going to push on because I was at a leadership conference this week and I learned how.
And you came back depressed.
No, I learned how to lead. All right. Now, hey, if you have a question about parenting, put it in the chat, and I'm gonna do my best to answer it or find the answer. Maybe you have a question for Carson. Carson grew up in our home his whole life.
That's very true.
And he's the middle son, so he's the screwed up one. So
Yeah.
Jan, right? Like Jan Brady. Well, y'all are too young for Jan Brady.
I remember the Brady Bunch.
Do you?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, hey, this weekend, one of the things that we did at Potential Church is Easter's just around the corner. And, of course, we're going to have a big celebration on Easter right here on SNL. And if you'd like to be in the studio audience, Troy at troygramling.com. But whether you're in the studio audience or not, our goal is to build a sense of community. Alicia Smith, who loves daylight savings time. Because that's what this is, right? What's the other one called?
Spring forward,
No,
fall
I know,
back.
I know that, but you got daylight savings time.
And
And-
daylight savings ends. Daylight savings time starts, daylight savings time ends.
So that's all you have is daylight savings time. It ends or starts.
Yeah.
That's crazy. You can tell they're biased against the one I like because it doesn't even have a name. It's
I
just-
know,
it's
because
just-
it shouldn't be.
It's just
Yeah.
not daylight savings time.
I don't understand.
How would you like to be not daylight savings?
Yeah, exactly.
That's terrible. All right. All right. So if you will, hey, don't forget, these could be yours. And they are unique. They're signed. I stood in line so you wouldn't have to. And I'll send them to you. I will. Jessica Lippin. Sammy invited me. Jessica, it is so good to have you. And you could be the winner of a John Maxwell signed book or a leadership Bible. Over $100 in value.
Signed, like you said, so that's even over.
Priceless.
That's right. It's even more.
Priceless.
And it all
Maybe
happens,
1,000.
It all happens here. Hey, let me show you the video we played because Easter is just around the corner. And don't forget, if you got a question about parenting, or if you got it all figured out, you don't have any questions, that's fine as well. But if you do, now's the time to ask it. All right, let's watch this, guys.
Hey, Robert. Do you mind?
Yeah, man.
Do you go places?
Do I go places?
Yeah, places.
Yeah, I go places. You go places?
I love places. I went to this place just now.
And that's when I knew I was going to invite Robert De Niro to Easter at Potential.
Did you say something?
No.
Robert didn't know, but I had to get him ready for such a big event.
Boring. You don't like it?
No, it's not you. Really?
We made sure to fill up on some noodles.
Oh, it's very cute.
He contemplated costumes.
About 5 miles down the road here.
Well, let's go.
Let's go.
Easter at Potential. Who are you inviting?
All right, guys. Hey, just want to tell you one more time, if you want a chance, we're going to announce the winner, and hey, we'll send them out tomorrow, or Tuesday, excuse me. But all you got to do is invite somebody, and when they show up, say who invited them, and we will put those names in the basket, and Pastor Danny's going to draw out a winner in just a few moments as we wrap this up. If you have a question about parenting, now's the time to ask that question. And while you do that, because really that's why we're here. You know, we're here because we want to talk. I want those of us in the chat to be able to communicate with one another. I want to be able to communicate with you guys, and it's an opportunity to do life together. And of course, I don't have all the answers, but if I don't know the answer, we can talk about it, and somebody in the chat room may have the answer, or I will find the answer. But the goal is for us to build a sense of community, and of course that takes some time. All right, let's go. Oh, I mentioned it to you, but I didn't finish it. I have been to Oklahoma in the last 2 weeks. I have been to Boston, and I've been to Orlando. Trying to figure out, I still got a couple more I may need to go to, which is Kentucky and Arkansas. Why would I be doing that?
Kentucky.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Daniel Boone was from Kentucky, wasn't he?
Daniel Boone.
I think he was. Daniel Boone was a man. I used to watch that show. But anyways, let's go to Tea with Brother PT. All right. One of the things that we like to do is we like to spend a little time, see what's trending, and then give you a pastor's perspective on a few of the trending items.
Daniel Boone was, in fact, from Kentucky. There you go.
See, you doubted my...
I didn't.
You doubted my...
When did I doubt?
Why'd you have to look it up?
Just to confirm how the wisdom that you have. I don't want people to doubt you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You're a good middle son. So if you have a question about parenting, all right, then you can ask me, or you can ask the middle son. All right, he may have an answer or some insight. All right, let's see what is trending. Give you a pastor's perspective. You know, you get so many different perspectives online, but seldom do you get a live pastor's perspective, a real live pastor's, almost 30-year pastor's perspective of what's going on. So where are we going? Where?
There we go. The categories weren't there.
All right.
Where are we going?
Let's go to the Academy Awards.
Oh, do you see it there?
Yeah. What's going on with the Academy Awards? Big night is tonight the Oscars?
Yep. It is. It's currently playing right behind us.
Wow. And you guys are here, Jalen Scott. was invited by Brad and they both invited. Is that cheating?
They want double.
Hey, Jalen. It just says how important you are. It took 2 people to get you here, but we are glad you are here. What does it say? Who's going to win the Oscars? Are kidding? They're not kidding. They're kicking. They're kicking off on Sunday night at the Dolby Theater in Los Angeles. You ever been there?
Nope.
Promising drama, laughs, and lots of major moments. But before the event begins, the stars are walking on the red carpet, showing their finest threads and loving plus ones. Is there pictures? I guess so. She's already there. Do you know who that is?
Vanessa
Hudgens.
I mean, I can read who it is.
Well, then why'd you ask?
Well, I meant, do you know her? Do you know what she's in? Is she
High School
up?
Musical.
Oh, is she?
Yes.
As a high school, she's not. Is she up for an Oscar? Or is she just there taking a picture?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't.
All right.
Does our audience know?
I assume she's pregnant.
Our audience does not know.
Does the audience care?
We need a more useful audience over here.
All right, let's go back. Okay, no. Let's look. Gabrielle Union.
Yes, that is, I believe.
Dwayne Wade's wife.
Yes.
Really?
Yep.
Look at that dress. It kind of looks like a bell.
It does.
Looks like she's wearing a bell. It's silver. Oh,
I don't know who that is.
Me either.
hold on. Let's go down. Notice that this pant legs
Those pants are interesting.
are wider.
Jamie
Oh,
Lee Curtis.
What was her movie? Is
she was in
Halloween up for an Oscar?
There's no way.
She's got to be in her 70s. Or
She
later.
is. She's definitely older than she used to be.
Yeah.
I'll just leave it at that.
She's got a pretty gray hair. That's the
Yes.
color I've been going for. But as you can see, I've kind of given up on. I've kind of given up. But that's not a good picture though, doesn't it? Kind of looks like she's hairlines.
Like back.
Yeah,
quite a ways.
Like she's has a receding hairline. I don't think that would be true, would it?
She's 65.
Really?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Hold on, can you blow that picture up?
I can. I think. Oh,
Whoa.
wait.
Hey.
Whoa! Didn't that show him in it? It looked like he was in the dress. Didn't it? No. She looks older than 65.
She does. She looks like she just recently, like over the past year, aged.
Right. I mean,
A couple years.
She's still a beautiful woman, but
Absolutely. If she's watching, which I'm sure
Jamie
she
Lee
is.
Curtis.
While she's
Jamie Lee Curtis
at the Oscars.
You were awesome in Halloween.
That she was.
That she was.
Are you talking about the original?
Yes. Was she in the original one, or she was in an early one?
Mm-hmm. The first one.
She's been in 3, I think. No, 4.
4.
Because she was in early, middle, and then 2 late.
Correct.
2 or 3 late.
5.
5.
She's been in 5.
Hey, Google. Hey, Siri. Ask Siri, how many? Here you go. Let me ask you guys, how many? Pastor Matt says he's going to take her with him to Turkey to get some plugs. That's not
Fix
nice.
that hairline.
That's not nice, Pastor Matt. My microphone is not working too good here. 7 Halloweens? Wow. There you go. 5. Brad says 5.
Yeah, I've counted.
Me, the
No, 6.
Me,
Yeah, it
the
might be
IT
7.
said 7.
Yeah, it might be.
Do we have the official? Is that the official count? 7. What did Siri say?
7. It is 7. In fact, she was in Halloween 2.
Jennifer, welcome. Gabby invited Jennifer. Way to go, Gabby. You're awesome. Jennifer, we're glad you're here. All right. Hey, that's enough of that. I'm tired of the Oscars. There's going to be a bunch of politics there at the Oscars probably this year.
I'm sure.
I'm not a big fan of the Oscars. Let me tell you one last time. Want to give out this Bible?
They're upside down.
Oh. Somebody will think that's devilish. I think that's devilish. I think it was the cameras. It wasn't me.
Mm-hmm. You're right.
The Bible and the book, they're both signed by John Maxwell. I got to spend a couple of days there, and it was good to see the impact. His impact has grown a lot since the last time I've been around. He started as a pastor, and he's having a huge impact. But anyways, it's a really good book. It's a really the Bible, of course, is good, but he's got his leadership lessons that go along with it, and he signed them both. So I wanted to give them away. You always want to pass on things that have added value to you, and he, to me, has always been somebody that's not afraid to write very practical and simple things down. And as a result, you can learn. The first Steph and I, let me tell you, this is because one of the things he talks about is personal growth. And Steph and I slept in the car, drove all night to get to Charlotte, and then spent the night with my aunt to go to leading and preaching to change lives, or preaching and leading to change lives. It was done by John Maxwell and Bill Hybels. It was done at, this is how long ago it was. While we were at that conference, they did the O.J. Simpson trial verdict. They stopped the conference and then piped in the verdict so we could find out whether he was guilty or not guilty. And that's just how much that.
Do you have a take on that?
Yeah, I do. Yes, I think he was guilty. Anybody that writes a book, you know what I'm saying? That says,
if I had done it.
You know what I mean? That's kind of
interesting.
But anyways, he talked about personal growth. He talked about leadership. And if I had to say, I would think that's probably had a huge impact on my life and the opportunities that God's given me, because I took it serious. And, growth doesn't happen by accident. It's something we all have to be intentional about. We have to be readers. It's easy to put those things off, but it does make a huge difference. And so I want to pass that along to you in just a few moments. But in the meantime, I wanted to spend just a few moments today talking about parenting. One of the things we're trying, like I told you, my prayer is that we could build a sense of community, that we could hang out a little bit, 30, 40 minutes each Sunday night, get to know one another through the chat room, through talking, and then talk about, have some fun, like we have done, and then talk about some things that are important. And to me, parenting plays, such an important role. We hear, and it's one of the things that I'm probably the most proud of, because you hear all the time about how pastors' kids, and there's a reason, there's a reason for that. They grow up in the spotlight. Christian, what do you think what's been for you the hardest part of growing up in a pastor's home?
Man. To be honest, there weren't a ton of difficult. I think people think it's, for me anyways, I'm not wired like everyone, but I think that there was a lot of good things beyond that far outweighed some of the struggles. But I think probably just the struggles of people's expectation, which, as you get older, it's a good thing that people expect a lot of you. But when you're younger, you want to make mistakes. You want to live your life, and you don't want to feel like every decision has these immense expectations. And so that was probably the most challenging, just at like being a young kid where you need to make mistakes, you need to learn certain things, but feeling like it was really hard to do that because of expectations.
Yeah. And it really doesn't matter the size of the church, but that, especially you guys grew up at a time when the church was really growing. And I'll never forget that. And at any church, people are always coming and going. And of course, some of those people that were going had kids that were your age. And, that's always tough. How should I cast vision to my kids about the benefit of coming to church? Well, I think there's two things there. One is allowing them bringing them into ministry, allowing them to see the real life change that takes place, the realness of it, the authenticness of it. And then also, I think it's important for us to be authentic. One of the things that kids pick up on so quickly is what's real and what's not. Are you pretending? I know pastors who, hide things from their kids because they think their kids can't handle it. Or I just think it's important to be authentic. And then I think at the end of the day, what we value, they will value. If they think that our faith is real and important and has a priority, and we live it out in that way, I think it's much easier then for us to be able to go to them and cast vision of how it's impacted our lives, and then how we can help, impact the lives of other people, and not only on this planet, but when it comes to eternity. And I think that's a huge deal. And then I think sometimes that doesn't work. And I think when it doesn't work, you just make them go. I mean, there was a season probably in all of our kids' lives where they didn't want to come, and we just said, "You're coming, you're going, you're going to be there." And when you do that when they're young, it makes it, of course, when the older they get, the more challenging that becomes. And it wasn't always easy, but they all outgrew that, because they developed friends and relationships. They began to see the value. Of course, we're praying all the time that God's going to touch their heart. They're going to become Christ followers, and that changes everything as well if they truly become Christ followers. So I think it's important to prioritize the house, right? And that means you have to be engaged. If you're engaged in serving, then it makes it easier, because kids tend to want to do, at least when they're young, what their parents are doing. All right. I hope that helps a lot. And somebody else in the chat might have TR. It's good to have you. Glad Larry invited you, and I invited me too. So you have the potential. John Maxwell signed book or signed Bible. All right. Any other questions out there, or have all of our parents just got it down? How do you get your adult? Elisa, that's a good question. How do you get your adult children back into church and believing again? I think it's important to, again, pray. There was a gentleman that was there this week, and one of the things that he said he had been in an accident. He was a pastor, actually, I think, but he had been a bodybuilder at one time, and so he knew a lot about weight, but losing weight, getting in shape. He said, but after his accident, he couldn't lose the weight. He was doing what he knew he needed to do, but he couldn't lose the weight. And he said one he discovered is how important prayer was even in that process. So I think we forget that sometimes. I think if we have adult children who are not serving God, it's important to pray for them and pray that on a daily basis that God will grab their heart, and then continue to live faithful and be honest, right? Be honest about our own doubts. I'll never forget, Tyler came to me. We were in Michigan visiting my grandma. She was living there in Michigan. We were out at the pool, and Tyler, I don't know how old Tyler was, maybe 8, maybe 10, I don't know, somewhere in that age group. And he came to me and he told me, he said, Dad, I don't believe there's a God. And,
he told me that last weekend too. Just kidding. Just a joke.
But he did. He told me that. And, I didn't want to overreact. And yet I didn't want to just say, oh, you do. It's, I wanted to give room for that. Because, again, I have a lot of confidence that God is big enough to deal with our doubts. And that if we're honest about them, even when it comes to trying, can't be afraid that our doubts will keep our adult children from investigating the truth. Right? So the more authentic that we are about what we're wrestling with and what we're thinking about, I think that becomes even more and more attractive.
I think something too worth mentioning when you talk about that we've been able to see through your life is yours and mom's is just when it comes to that idea of, do you force your kid, like when it comes to their belief system and all that, y'all never forced us when it came to belief, but you forced action. So it was like, okay, we're not going to force you to believe in God. We're not going to force you to believe this or that. Even when it came to what we think about God and, differences and opinions when it comes to doctrine and all that, none of that has ever been forced. But action was. You're going to go to church regardless. You're going to behave this certain way regardless. And so I think, it being in youth ministry, I see a lot of parents so fearful of forcing things upon their kids. But I think what's really worked that you guys did was forcing action. You know, regardless of belief, we can work through that. We can figure that out for ourselves, but we're going to force action. It's shown that, you know, when you force certain actions, belief ends up where it kind of needs to be.
Yeah, and I think it's choosing those areas, you know, because there were other areas where then we were very intentional about allowing you to make decisions. You know what I'm saying? I know early on, you know, there are movies they might have went to or music they might have listened to that, you know, I wasn't that hip on or didn't think was necessarily a good idea. And yet I thought that was a great place for them to stretch and to grow, to show their independence. You know, you never want your kids to feel controlled, because the goal is for them to become independent, and they can't become independent if you're trying to control them. That's a tendency, right? You know, I mean, you got a lot more experience, you got a lot more wisdom, and so the tendency is to want to control. But again, that's where priorities is important. This is what we're doing no matter what, and then this makes me nervous, but I'm going to allow you to make this decision. And even as they became believers, I, you know, was very intentional about having discussions about music and movies, especially video games, but at the same time allowing them to make that decision, and then, you know, helping them hopefully deal with, you know, oh, so you went and saw that, or, you know, so what'd you think? Is that, you know, and just have discussions. And let me tell you something about important discussions. They get to decide when you have them. And I know but that's important if you want to have a real deep discussion. Our kids, and they always want to have them at the worst time. They don't want to have them at 5 o'clock. They want to have them at midnight, or they want to have them at 6:30 in the morning, or whenever it is. But whenever it is that they're ready to talk, I just encourage you to talk, because those deep conversations are incredibly, incredibly important.
We've got a question here from Jalen Scott. Really good question. Not a parent, but for when I do become one, how do you protect your child from things of the world, but still allowing them freedom of experience and growth within their life, if that makes sense? So that's kind of what you were just hitting on, but just, you know, a really good question, I think.
No, I think that's probably the biggest challenge of parenting is, what do you say? This mic's really getting on my nerves. Why is it doing that? Is what are we, no matter what, and what are we? It's about to fall off. I'm unscrewing it. I'm sorry, Jalen. I want to give you a question. We have the wizard.
Well, so how's everyone doing? Are we doing good?
There we go.
Living life.
All right, Jalen. You can't protect children from everything, and we shouldn't, right? How do we develop our immune system? You got to be exposed to certain bacteria, right? They said that one of the things that, you know, the whole COVID thing, it weakened our immune system because we weren't being exposed to all the different germs and stuff. And the same thing is true with, I think, raising your children. So you have to kind of predetermine what freedoms are you going to give them as far as their own decision making, because they have to have some, and they have to have more, and they have to know how they can get more freedom as they grow, as they get older. You have to know what environments are you going to allow them in, what environments are destructive, because there are some, right? Kids are easily influenced, and if they're around the wrong people in the wrong environment, they're going to make more bad decisions. And then when they do make a bad decision, how do you have that kind of conversation and talk about it? So I think even though you don't have any kids, you're going down the right road as far as beginning to think about, you know, who they're going to hang with, where are you going to draw the lines, when you're going to draw the lines, how are you going to open up the lines so that they can make more decisions, because you want to give decision-making muscles. Kids who go wild when they get to college are kids who don't have strong decision-making muscles because the parents made all the decisions for them while they were at home. nobody wants that to happen, right? You want your kids to be able to make good decisions because they keep lifting decision-making weights as they get older, you know, from 5 years old to 10 years old to 15-year-old. And that has to be intentional because as a parent, the tendency is, especially in today's world, we make soft kids. And the reason we make soft kids is because we don't allow them to experience any pain. And pain is an important part of good decision-making. You have to understand how pain feels, right? And it's that pain that makes us make good decisions along the way. So anyways, that is important. Sabbgobin. We are glad you are here. And Sabrina asks you, all right, it is about times for us to give away.
Quick question. I do have one.
Okay.
I just because I think it's a really good question. Kayla asked it, and I know there are some youth in here. What about the flip side? How can we talk to a non-believing parent about Jesus and the church? I know in youth ministry we have several students who they come, their parents don't come. So I know we're talking about parenting. It's not exactly, but I think it's an interesting conversation on how to have that conversation as a kid to a parent.
I know as a parent, your parent is watching, and the Bible tells us the Holy Spirit is convicting. And so your parents, just like anybody, is looking for something in your life that can allow them to not deal with the conviction God's bringing in their life. Okay? So it's important to just be faithful in front of them. And when you screw up, because you will, you're going to lose your temper, you're going to get angry, you're going to not do your homework, whatever it is, then just be honest about it. Be vulnerable, be sincere in front of them, because then you'll get the opportunity to share what's going on in your life and look for those opportunities. Look for opportunities to just have conversations, right? And God will provide those. And, you know, don't expect it to happen in a moment, but over time. So be real, be vulnerable, live out your faith because they are watching. But like anybody, when God convicts us, right? One of the things, listening to Maxwell this weekend and some of the things he was saying, and God would convict me. Guess what? Brother Maxwell's put on a little extra weight. So no, this is the way I think. This is the way I think. This is the way I think. I'll deal with that when he deals with that. And I mean, I know that's not right, but I just think everybody's wired that way.
Yeah.
So anyways, I do.
Moral of the story, he needs to lose weight, is what you're saying.
No, the moral of the story is I need to listen no matter what he does. My future is not dependent upon his decision making. All right. Are we ready?
We have an announcement. As we set up for that announcement, we have a video of a very special guest coming this next weekend.
Okay. I know who it is. I do. Let's watch it.
Hey friends, coming to your area to speak soon. I hope you'll think about joining me. As you know, my heart is in the lane of defending the faith, engaging culture, and passing on the faith to the next generation. That's the theme of broadly what we're going to discuss, but would love to see you there soon. Sign up, bring a friend. We'll see you in a bit. Hey friends, coming to your...
Hey, we are back, and you know what? Here at SNL. Hold it. Hey, producer, give me the monster.
Ooh, the monster.
Hey guys, here at SNL, we are analog.
Analog?
No, we're analog because the contest winner is about to be announced. Pastor Danny's going to make his way onto the platform.
Come on!
Because you know what? This man right here is in the studio audience. Right there. If you'd like to be Troy at troygramling.com. All right. That's what I mean by analog. All of you fine people who have invited and asked guests are here. And the winner. Now, here's what we're going to do. We're going to draw. Whose is the inviter's name in here? Is that who's in here?
Both. And the invitee.
And the invitee. So I'm going to draw a name. And then the inviter and the invitee, right? That's two people. Will get both of these. Okay? So here we go.
They get both? Two of them? Or the inviter gets, and he can decide what the invitee gets?
Well, let me draw a name and I'll tell you. I'm not sure I understand. I got to see what you do. All right. So, all right. So we have Derek, who invited Maylin.
Ooh. Come on! Yeah! Come on!
Now, I don't know if Maylin's still here, but we're going to take she is. We're going to say she is. Because with this quality program, how could she walk away?
Exactly.
And I
Amen.
told him not to leave.
Okay. Well, and you, I know how that. All right. So anyways, this is what we're going to do, Maylin. We're going to send. Well, Derek's here. We're going to give this to Derek, and he's going to decide which one of these you get. Okay. Now, maybe because Derek's a pretty good guy. He might give you both of them.
Huge Swiftie. Big Swiftie as well.
Yeah.
Big Swiftie. Can we play that clip on the stream?
Yeah, we can if we can find it. Yes, I forgot. Derek the Swiftie. I don't. Maylin. Is it not Maylin? It's
Maylin.
Yeah, Maylin. Did you know?
Are you? Yeah, she's there.
Oh,
Come
Maylin
on.
is here. All right. Are you a big Swiftie, Maylin? Hey guys, I am so glad that you tuned in. We have a podcast where we talk with interesting people. Do we know who's up this week? Do you remember?
No.
It's
Someone
good.
interesting. It's someone interesting.
I think it's the weather woman.
Constance Jones.
All right, Constance Jones, who works at NBC. NBC? She back at NBC? Yeah, NBC, and she's there on the. So, anyways, it's a great conversation, and check that out. We talked to a bunch of interesting people. There are a lot of old episodes as well. We'd love for you to come if you're in the area and be a part of Potential Church, either online or in person. And next week, as you saw, Sean, the apologist, if you got a question, actually, if you'll email me that question, troy@troygramling.com, I will do my best to ask him the question. He talks about the things that we talk about when we say we don't believe there is a God. So it'd be a great weekend to get somebody who doubts or somebody who's actually negative about God. Come and check it out. I'm very honored that you'd hang out with us. Help us to build this channel on Rumble and on YouTube so that we can build a community and enjoy life. We'll see you next Sunday right here at 6 o'clock on SNL. And until then, God bless.